process at that point. But Sara was like the very first one. I was like, don't fall in love with the first one, dude. Like, just like see it through, do the callback, do the right thing, go through the process. But Dylan, for the Travis thing, I was just like, that's our. I was like, I felt watching you on tape that I was like, this is someone I can improv. This is like someone who I can play off of really well. And I just want to sock him right in the face, and that's a good thing. And I want to kiss him right in the mouth. It's like a weird punch him in the mouth with my lips sort of situation. So I kind of, you guys both
clip that, Josh. Clip that.
Clip that. Yeah, maybe cut that part. But I'm just saying, for both of you, there was like
part. That's the trailer.
I'll be honest, I still don't fully believe you, but hey, we'll take your word for it.
That's some royalty-free shit, people. That's what we do.
Beyond Quota.
This podcast is brought to you by Scratchpad. In an age of austerity, efficient growth is replacing the growth at all costs mindset. Sales teams need to adopt process. Leaders need more visibility. The organization as a whole needs more delightful and fluid user experience. And so do your customers. That's a lot to do. So let's keep it simple. You need Scratchpad. Scratchpad is the first system built for sales process performance, designed for the execution, management, and measurement of your entire sales process. Trust your CRM, trust your forecast, trust your process. Learn more at Scratchpad. This is the Beyond Quota podcast. Today, we have a special episode that's way beyond quota, featuring two stars from the upcoming television series Sales Are Dope. We have Sara Kamine, not Carmine, and starring as Mickey. And we have Dylan Flynn.
It's actually Flynn.
You actually pronounce both ends as well. So it's Flynn and Dylan
Flynn.
Dylan Flynn, not to be confused with Dylan Flynn, starring as Travis. I am your host, Beyond Salehi, the CEO and co-founder of Scratchpad. And with me, as always, is Corp.
Stoked to be here, as always. Great to be here with some of the greats, some of cinema's greats.
Just what a reunion!
Honor to be here, as seen in. Anyway, not the point. But this is an interesting episode because these are two, and maybe I'm overstating this for Dylan, but two folks who don't have a ton of direct tech experience, and so they wandered into this world just bright-eyed, Bambi-faced bitch asses. And now they are woke. Now they are aware. So Ben, I don't know if you have a line of questioning to run down, but this should be an interesting one, especially after people see it.
Well, I kind of like how Puyan started. We recently talked to Steven, our fearless leader and director, Steven, as well as Talon, Do It All producer behind the scenes. And Puyan asked them at the start of the conversation, we're so close to actually getting this out in the world, and it's been such a long, process from when we filmed it, which is, you guys are a little bit more used to that being in the industry, but how does it feel being basically 2 weeks away from, the show that's going to change all of our lives?
Yeah.
Set us on the rocket ship, blast off. I mean, I had such a great time on that set, and literally when it ended for a good week, I was on a low. I was like, God, now I'm just back to the daily grind. Well, I'm not on set anymore. I'm not having fun with all these guys. And so, I mean, you are right. We kind of get used to, like, we film something and then it comes out like a year later. And you're like, oh yeah, forgot I shot that. That looks pretty good. But this one, I was like, I'm waiting every week. I'm like, I'm ready to see it. I mean, Ross and I were texting a lot throughout the months, and I was like, can I see some scenes? Like, can I see some screenshots? Can I see a trailer? Like, can you send me some footage? Like,
yeah, he was asking. I was like, I can't show him anything until it's like where it needs to be, because you only get one first impression.
Which
Yeah,
it almost is
I'm stoked for
where
it.
it needs to be.
Very excited to see it all.
I am very
Sarah?
excited to see it as well. I'm also kind of nervous from some of my lines that I was forced to say.
Forced to say, just at gunpoint, Sarah, you
Yeah.
must say these lines, and you'll say them with conviction.
I know. No, it's always very exciting. Just being on set in general is such an outrageous thing. Just speaking from like an acting perspective, getting to go work with other creative people and just basically play pretend for a living is so fun. And to see a final product be made out of that is even more fun, I think. So I'm excited and nervous, but
I'm curious, like, what was your first impression? Like, I think we asked Steven in town this, like, how did you get involved? Like, what was your first impression when you got involved? Like, when you read the sides, like from the cast, from the immediate like casting piece, like, what was that like?
Yeah, I remember receiving the initial like character synopsis from Mickey, and I was like, "That is me." I felt like immediately connected to it, which that's a rarity. That doesn't normally happen for me. So there's like an immediate connection there, and I was very grateful for that. That makes it like so easy to connect.
Me?
Yeah.
Same question?
Yeah, same
Yeah.
question.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say I didn't have to stretch too far to find Travis. I remember reading the initial scenes, and I thought they were hilarious, and I loved it too because most self-tapes you just follow the script, but you guys like strictly said, hey, feel free to play around with the script and use your own lines if you want to like interject here and there. I was like, okay, so that's fun. There's some improv play here. And even after I filmed the self-tape and the audition, I was like, I don't know. I felt okay about it. But then you guys got me the call back. I was like, okay, maybe I'm just overthinking it. Maybe I just haven't had a job in a while, but
Maybe I'm at rock bottom right now. I don't know anything anymore.
Maybe nothing's been working, but this worked. Okay, cool. I'll just go ride with it.
Sarah, do you remember your tape?
My initial tape that I sent in.
Yeah.
I do, because I do remember with the improv thing, like adding on to one of the scenes. I think it was the scene where we're walking to the bar, and I kind of sat with that and I was like, what can I add here and say? And I don't normally save my auditions, but I did save that one scene. I also read with myself, which is kind of weird. I don't normally do that. I was in a time crunch and I couldn't find another reader or go to the studio I normally record with. So I just recorded the opposite person's lines as myself and played it, but it worked.
Did you have to cry for your audition?
That's the piece.
Not everyone did.
Oh, did I cry?
You cried.
Yeah.
You cried. You
don't even know.
She's always crying. Status quo. Status quo.
Yeah, there were tears and snot. There was a lot of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The snot bubbles, but God.
Ugly cry.
Yeah. I do remember. I mean, the casting process, and I think we can kind of relate this back to sales a little bit, but I do remember, it's such a crazy process from our perspective as like the, prospects in this sense, where we're evaluating who's going to be playing these roles. There's all these like super talented people and you're watching 20 tapes and then you nail it down to 5. And to get to 20, there was 100 or whatever. And it's such a competitive process, but I do remember after both of your auditions, it was pretty clear that you guys were perfect for those roles. But from the actor's perspective, I mean, this is one of the hardest parts of the industry, like getting yourself up for audition after audition, and you're sending tapes in and you might hear back, you might get a call back, and then you think they love you, and then it's someone else, or you get the part. Like, what is that roller coaster of emotions? And it's so personal too. Like, how do you mentally stay strong enough to like continue to go through that process and like chase your dream of being an actor?
I try to make it not personal. Like I go and do things with the intent of being rejected. Like I know that's just going to be the outcome. So when I don't get
That's
it,
sales right there. I'm
not
gonna call them. They're gonna say no, but it's my job.
like if you're not being rejected, you're not doing anything. So yeah.
Facts.
That's a great. Yeah. I'm gonna get that
Yeah.
tatted on.
Yeah.
For the premiere.
I
You're not
totally
getting
agree
rejected.
with
You're not doing
what she's
anything.
saying. They've already said no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel the same way as what Sarah's saying. It's weird. You just kind of build up some mental fortitude of getting in the habit of feeling okay with rejection over and over and over again. Because, I mean, thousands and thousands of people are going in trying to do what we're doing. And just like that 1% is going to make it. And you just have to be like cognizant of that. But still go in and be like, well, I'm going to give this my all. And if they like me, they like me. If they don't, move
Then
on
they're
to the
wrong
next
and they're
one.
stupid and they should die.
Yeah.
And I think that's a pretty rational way to think about it. Yeah, exactly. I remember watching your Sarah's was the very first audition of anyone that I watched, and the crying was so convincing. I was like holy shit, this is real. Like somebody else is like playing this role that we've created, which is just weird to think about because normally it's like friends or fan anything else that we've
Yeah.
done. It's just like friends and family. And I put you like we were picking our top 5, and obviously you were the first person, so I made you one. And I remember being like, I don't think I need to watch anymore, but I have to. Like I'm like, that's dumb. Like dumb.
Yeah.
You can't just love the first. You can't just fall in love immediately. And go.
Hey,
And I
a
was
lot
like,
of
okay,
casting directors do that though. They find the one, then they're done.
right. And I thought about
Yeah.
that. I was like, no, I have to give everyone a chance. Like maybe my no, not to say it wasn't a great performance. It was. I was like, maybe my bar's low, and I'm just like really excited. Everyone's gonna be amazing. And then it wasn't the case. You know, and you're still our number one at that point. But we had to I was like, okay, if I'm running a company, we got to like interview other candidates. We got to just find out and like be sure we're making the right choice. And like in the same vein for Dylan, I was like, that's our guy. I was like, that's our guy right there. It's done. Fine. I'll listen to a few more, but like,
Yeah.
that's our guy. You were like the third. I think we did Fister even before you. So like, I'd kind of figured out the process at that point, but Sarah was like the very first one. I was like, don't fall in love with the first one, dude. Like, just like see it through, do the callback, do the right thing, go through the process. But Dylan, for the Travis thing, I was just like, that's our guy. I was like, I felt watching you on tape that I was like, this is someone I can improv. This is like someone who I can play off of really well. And I just want to sock him right in the face. And that's a good thing. And I want to kiss him right in the mouth. It's like a weird punch him in the mouth with my lips sort of situation. So I kind of, you guys both
Clip that, Josh. Clip that.
Clip that. Yeah, maybe cut that part. But I'm just saying for both of you, there was like a very.
That's the trailer.
Oh yeah. Punch him in the mouth with my lips. But I think that was what it was. I think it was pretty immediate.
Oh my gosh.
And in like hindsight, you go back and you're like, okay, well, I needed to do the process and see everybody else. There were some like interesting takes on the same characters, right? But it was, ultimately when you guys did exactly what we expected, which was to kill it. So
well, that's a funny thing too. Just talking about the audition process is, I mean, like I said, I felt okay about that audition. Obviously, it was good enough for you guys.
Yeah, I mean, and our bar was just down here. So
did not need much for Travis. Yeah, he's good enough. That's fine.
Yeah,
we just need somebody to talk and be punchable.
Yeah,
but you could give I've had auditions where I'm like, I think I nailed that. Like I feel really good about that, and then you overthink it. You're like thinking about it all the time when you should be moving on, and then you don't hear anything, and you're like, what? That was like my best audition. What else do I have to do? But then, I mean,
I think that is totally, can go back to sales too. Like the worst maybe rejection note that you can get in sales, is when you do everything you need. Everything was great. You multi-threaded, you demoed, you this, that, the other. And then in the end, they're like, we just went with this other product, but you're a great salesperson. And it's like, if I was such a good salesperson, you would have fucking bought my thing, not the other thing.
Right.
But I think it comes back to like fit too. Like both of you guys were such great fits for the role. And it makes me think of casting Raj. Raj's character was the hardest one. And we got to the point where we just got the original Raj. We were like, we can't do it with anyone else. Like
there is no one. There is no one else.
Yeah,
there isn't.
No
I have
else.
scoured the entirety of India. I have gone through 2 billion people. And there is one. There is only one.
Man.
It was that was an interesting process too. I mean, the Pfister one was interesting as well. He was doing it from his car and it's like kept cutting out. But
was Natalie already attached? When
Natalie was already attached. She wasn't when we originally wrote it. And then I met her and we started like making stuff, and she lives in the city here, and like we became friends, and I was like, hey, I don't know if you have any interest in this. Yeah, like we live very close, and she was like, sure. Like she was coinciding with quitting her job, and so it ended up like working out. And I think it was also just something new for her. She had never really done acting like in this traditional sense. Granted, like the character is very her in a lot of ways, but to do something of this magnitude was like a first for her. So she was, more than happy to live in an Airbnb with me and Raj and Ben.
Sure.
Yeah. More than happy. Thrilled. Thrilled.
She's a natural.
Just briefly from like a background standpoint, I think would love to hear like Sara, kind of your path to this point and like what you do professionally. Obviously you're an actress, but like kind of school or kind of like what brought you to this point.
Who are you?
Just an actress.
Who am I?
Are you?
Are you really?
Nice.
Whose actress is this?
I started acting I'm a serial hobbyist, so I always want to try like random stuff, but acting was something that I always wanted to do. And I got into it after I graduated high school just for fun. And I ended up making connections that way with my manager through my acting coach, and my manager got me on auditions, and they set me up with my agent. And all these auditions started happening that way. So I was booking jobs here and there. Also doing school full time, working random just customer service jobs as well. Just
that's fun. That's fun.
Oh, so fun. Not soul-crushing at all.
Yeah,
it's a great experience.
That's like sales adjacent for sure.
Yeah,
customer service stuff. How about you, Dylan?
I started in high school, but it stemmed from I played sports throughout high school, but randomly got into hip hop dance like heavily. Like I was just teaching myself off of YouTube videos and dancing in the basement. My parents were like,
Ross does that.
Keeping himself busy.
I do actually have hip hop dance at 2:30.
Yeah,
I do.
Do you?
He's not lying.
I do. Beck and I are doing hip hop dance now, so it's not a big deal. It's whatever. Just whatever.
Is that before or after your wine tasting?
Is after.
Yeah.
But yeah, I started to take dance classes in high school, and then that led to doing some theater kind of in the winter, and just kind of stuck with it. Didn't really know what I wanted to do in college, but I just knew that I really loved movies. My dad and I went to the movies every Sunday, big Tom Cruise movie fans, and the more I watched, the more I just wanted to get to know the process of filmmaking. And so that's why I went to Baylor and studied theater and film and digital media. And I mean, I just kind of did it so much at Baylor. They do a really good job of keeping you busy acting wise. There's always projects going on, whether on the big stage or side projects in the smaller, like the black box theater. And then I was also just making short films all the time for my film classes. And the more I did it, I was like, I think I just want to do this forever. Like I really enjoy this acting. I don't know. I got tired of acting on stage. I think I always knew I didn't want to do that after college. As much as I enjoyed it, I wanted to do film acting. And luckily I had really supportive parents who were like, well, if you really want to do it, just go out to LA and do it. Like get after it and just see where it goes. We're still kicking.
Yeah. They're like, sweetheart, he'll be back in 6 months. Don't worry. If he wants to go chase his big stupid dream, let him. Christ. Yeah.
Thing I was curious about. I mean, what do you see as the future of the company of Suckle? Is it going to survive? I mean, markets have been crazy, as we all know.
Yeah. Tech
Industry is taking a big hit. Suckle, definitely solves a problem for its customers, I think.
If it can survive a season 1, it can survive a season 2.
That's facts. Facts. Absolute facts. That is a good question. Well, either way, you'll see both of them in Sales Are Dope coming up here, April 13th. Like, comment, subscribe, watch from multiple devices, watch all the way through, and tell your mom and tell her friends.
Make your mom watch it.
Sara Kamine, Dylan Flynn, thank you both for joining us.
Are you looking for ways to execute, manage, and measure your entire sales process? Scratchpad is your answer. The world's largest sales teams, including Autodesk, Algolia, Cisco, GoTo, Twilio, Segment, are already seeing better results. Learn more at scratchpad.com.